Was yesterday when you have a blue diamond winner returning and winning, a golden slipper winner back in the winner's circle, and a new star in Baryshnikov. I say new star, he's won a Sandown Guineas and probably more importantly an Australian Guineas. Yesterday, Keith, he was exceptional, wasn't he, in the Liston?
He was fantastic, and firstly, Bruce, add to that the fastest 1,000 metres ever run in Australia by Grand Bray at Sandown. So all in all, it was an exciting day, and Jean beaten but not disgraced yesterday, the Melbourne Cup hero.
Max, it turned out very well for racing, I feel. Welcome back, by the way.
It's good to be here, Bruce, but the most significant thing to come out of racing in Sydney yesterday was the return of Mick Dittman. He is still the man, he still has the magic.
Now, he's been suspended, hasn't he? 5
meetings, a minor indiscretion in the last race, but Dittman did his mounts proud yesterday, and it's good to see that old enforcer touch back in action.
With a new whip, Max, I read about in the Sydney Morning Herald.
No, not quite yet. Everybody's got to use it, but Mick used the standard shillelagh yesterday and got the utmost benefit out of it too.
Well, he was warming the saddle on Flying Spur for Glenn Boss, Max. I wonder where that leaves Glenn Boss now, rear rider.
Well, Mick was going to warm the saddle on our Mace-Gay and got a stretch, another stretch, and he lost the mount there. So it's interesting, but I think we'll let the fullness of time sort that out.
Good on you, Maxie. Simon Marshall, he's a wonderful rider. He's got an outstanding strike rate. Yesterday, Baryshnikov, he rode the horse perfectly in the Liston. And the exciting thing here, Keith, was his acceleration at 300 metres with 300 to go. He quickened like the best weight for age horses do. Point out June to us, Keith.
Well, June, just getting into the picture, his cap is blue and white. His nose is not quite into the picture yet. He gets a bit of a check here from Pharaoh. That's him, the chestnut on the last horse in the picture, and ahead of him, out 3 wide, is the grey Baryshnikov. Now, Simon Marshall, you mentioned him, Bruce, his ticket for the spring was to be Hariba. Hariba will now miss the spring. Simon was working on his weight and getting it down. All of a sudden, he's found a new superannuation fund, surely because Baryshnikov is being set for the Cox Plate. Look,
this is the key, sorry Keith, here with Pharaoh not making the turn. You see June get checked and now balanced up. Now he's 2 lengths behind Baryshnikov as they straighten. And this was the acceleration coming up in about 50 metres from Baryshnikov, the grey, wasn't it?
If June had a winning chance, and personally, I don't think he would have beaten Baryshnikov on the day, then he surely lost it there. Here comes Baryshnikov. This is a signal that this might be the season of the 4-year-olds. We've got Dane Wynn and others to come to. Blevick, sure. And look at Jean getting home now, but he doesn't quite grab his stablemate for second placing.
Well, before I get Max to talk about it as well, Gerald Ryan, the trainer of Baryshnikov, obviously delighted. Craig Willis spoke to him after the race yesterday, and he asked him about his immediate plans.
After the Craigley, he'll run a fortnight later in the Underwood Stakes, and then a fortnight to the Caulfield Stakes, and then a fortnight to the Cox Plate, and we'll just play it by ear and see what happens.
Is he a tough horse? Can he stand that sort of hard racing at this time?
I don't think he is, really. No, I think you'll get a long way better with the horse if you train him back a little bit, and I think he'll cop the race and providing it space, and I don't overtax him at home, because I just don't reckon he's that tough to cop a hard campaign leading up into the race. Well, he's proved it to me coming up today, you know. He's been in work 11 weeks, he's run 1,400 metres, he's had a relatively easy time into the race, and well, I don't think he's a hard horse, a tough horse to cop a hard program.
It's interesting because Gerald's been riding the horse in track work, hasn't he?
Yes, he has. It's also interesting that Mahogany trialled between races yesterday, running his last 3 in, I think, 34, yeah. Right? They're going to clash in the Craigley. Be a great race.
Well, Mahogany first up, we know all about him. Now, Wayne Harris had this to say about June after the race.
Pretty usual for him. He's a touch slow away, but got himself into a fairly nice spot. If anything, they went quite hard up front and helped him settle a bit, but I was further back off than I wanted to be. Home turn, he looked like he was going to be right into it, and he ran into a little bit of interference there, and Sydney horse Pharaoh didn't seem to be getting around the turn and come out under my neck and stopped me, and probably cost me a length and a half, 2 lengths, and he sort of only got beat that at the finish, so it's a difference between winning and losing, I think, today, but whatever he did today, he will improve on.
Max, your assessment of the race?
On the face value, you would have to wonder whether Jean would have beaten Baryshnikov, but I wonder what that check did to his head. He's an English stallion. It might have just taken a bit of the enthusiasm out of him. I thought the run of Jern was quite good, but he's got this habit of getting beat. That's not quite good. Baryshnikov has obviously made improvement from his 3-year-old days to yesterday. Will he continue to improve? Well, on all the theories of racing, he should. He's with a good trainer. I'm looking forward to seeing him in the future.
Yeah, a word of warning from me also, Max and Bruce. Look, don't put the Cox plate on the dinner table yet for Baryshnikov, because yesterday's race, he really only had Jern on the day to beat. State Targe wasn't quite ready, and apart from that, there was not the depth of opposition that he's going to meet in the future.
Fair enough. Well, Principality came back pretty well yesterday. You'll notice that Rodney Griffiths has to extricate him in the straight. Push out, force the passage. There he is with the yellow cap, blue and golden sleeves. Now you watch here, coming to the turn. He's about 7th. This is the bumping duel. He has to get him. Look at Maxie laughing there. What are you talking about, Maxie? Have a look. Oh, this is good stuff, isn't it?
All right. Go on, Rodney, you little beauty boy.
and home he goes. He looked pretty good.
Well, this underlines here at Sandown, as it did in Sydney, that you don't fluke winning the Premier 2-year-old races of the state and of the nation. There's the Blue Diamond Stakes winner of last season, Principality, back and winning, and the same happened in Sydney, Bruce.
I like him, Principality.
Yeah, he's a very good horse.
He is. Now, Graham Bay, we're not going to show. He ran the fastest ever, but 54.8, which was amazing. But we're going to go to Flying Spurs win. Forced to lead, Max. But,
oh, no. Bruce, not forced to lead, allowed to canter in front.
Sorry, Max, keep going.
This was the Dittman magic. Nothing wanted to lead, so Mick said, well, let me do a trot and canter in front. Dittman was bold enough to stick to the fence, where the experts said that was slower. You just know, he's just allowed to dictate his own terms. It was like presenting him with peaches and cream. But down the outside, note the run of Recalcitrance, because they ambled along early in this, and Recalcitrance will end up 3rd and make up a lot of ground. There he is in the black colours, the white cap charging home. A nice run by Flying Spur. Will continue to improve, but a presentation race. They ran something like 130 plus. The welter over the same distance ran 128.5. That'll tell you the difference in the pace of the race.
Flying Spur, Max, now off to the Gloaming and then the Spring Champion Stakes. Last horse to do that hat trick was Sir Dapper in 83. Can he do it?
Well, he's a similar type. They both won Golden Slippers. If the presentation is made as it was yesterday, yes, he will do it, but I figure it's going to get a little bit harder from here on in.
Max, given the choice of fan clubs to chair, would you choose Dittman or Mahogany?
Oh, Dittman. Oh, Dittman.
Ah, you're giving Mickey a nice old touch-up this morning, aren't you?
Put it this way, Mahogany's a fresh horse. Dittman's a horse of all seasons.
Ah, good on you, Max. You're in good form. We'll see you next week. You too, Keith.
Look forward to that, Bruce and Max.
Keith Hillier and Max Presnell. A couple of other characters after this. Roy and, not HG, but GH, Gerard Healy.
It's dropped in the square. Andrew Jarman, well done. Tregenza goes in and gets it quite easily.
There's a chance on. Matt Rogers down the right, flying